Well, man, I am glad. I'm looking at TeamSpeak here, man, looking at all these people on here, all the new
User
people.
joined your channel.
Man, I can't thank you enough for even being here. A little bit about the program, man. I like to do these classes not only to inform you personally about what's going on, but what you can do for the next guy down the road who says, "Man, I didn't know that you could do this, or I didn't know you could do that." You can have the information right from me, right from everybody. We'll talk about it, and you can take that and move on to the next guy. I know everybody can't be here. We also record it, but we can't tell who watches it and who cares to watch it, but they always ask for information. So that's what the class is about. Like I said, I thank everybody who's here tonight. The mentor class page, I got it up. I want to say something about the Mafia Mentorship Program. If you can just click on that. And that loads up the Mafia Mentorship.
All right.
What was that, bud? All right. The Mafia Mentorship Program. This is where I lay the students in and the junior mentors and the senior mentors. This thing at the top of this page, I know everybody can see it. It's got an edit button. Do not touch this thing. Let the admins, let me take care of this. But if you're not on here, if you want to be a student or you want to be a junior or a senior mentor, I want to know about it and I'll plug you in this. This is an important thing. This is how somebody's going to find out how to do things or what to build. Basically, you're going to
joined your channel.
Take somebody under your wing and you're going to help them. It's not that you're going to be the only person helping them in the raid, but you are the go-to guy. So please, if you see somebody on this list that you think you can help, let me know. If you're not on this list as a student, let me know. Do not edit that list. Everybody understand that?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Perfect. So if you back out of that, the next little clip down there below, it says maybe someone might need this info. These are keystrokes. These are how you drive your boats. I want to talk about these just a little bit and give you a scenario of what I do. Say I'm base hitting. When I go into a base, I up arrow. Everybody knows up arrow selects all the fleets, right? And I gather them up. Say you're heading in the channel or however you're doing it. Some people may select number 1 boat, go in, number 2 boat, go in, number 3 boat, and that's all on the keypad. I also learned this week from somebody who I was trying to teach this to, you got to have your number lock key on to make your keypad work. It doesn't work the other way. So a scenario how I do it is up key, I select them all, I gather them all up. If I'm driving all the boats in together in a channel, I may click the back.
Joined your channel.
I may click the back of the base. Select all, click the back of the base. And then while I'm driving through the channel, as the boats are going through there, I hit the shift and right key. If you can look on that shift and right key, what that does is select a target, but your boats keep moving. They don't stop. And you can select a certain target as your boats are driving in. So that's a good driving skill. I've learned that. I've learned to use that. The other thing is a rocket. I can bring up a rocket. It's the, let me see here, the R key. Brings a rocket up right in the middle of whatever you're doing. All you got to do is hit the R key. It'll bring that rocket right up and you can target and launch it. So get familiar with these right here. If you're just now learning how to drive or you think you really know how to drive, somebody who knows how to operate this keypad right here, other than just select all in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or right left arrow to select your boats. This is the way that, these guys are really doing it. Anybody got a scenario they want to talk about how they shift or roll in?
Yes.
Trying to remember. Oh, go ahead.
One thing I do, and you know how people try and hide stuff on the base so you can't find it so it runs out of time? Well, after I kill the last item, I'll hit the S key, move everything to the AI, and see if it targets anything.
Absolutely. I do that before I leave.
Exactly, because there's been times where I've left the base and there's something alive in the base, but my ships aren't going to it because they're off AI. And then it's like, well, do I jump in and wait for the time to expire or what? If I put on the AI, I at least know my ship is going to go hit whatever's alive still, so I can still come out hot.
Yeah, that S and what he's talking about, the AI, is it returns your ships back to the auto mode, so they're going to seek out what they can by themselves.
That's good to know.
I know there's a lot of toggle full screen or jump into chat and all that kind of stuff on there. I don't really use that, but just try to familiarize yourself with this. And if somebody that's not on TeamSpeak or not on the class right now or doesn't watch the video, I set out and watch people this week specifically on how they're driving. I'd watch a lot of people, and I was trying to explain to them on how to drive, and they were like, "Boy, I can't get the number key thing down. I can't." And what I'm talking about is when they run a flagship. Basically, I'll just say what it is. They were running a Kodiak, the flagship there, whatever that is, and a set of Punishers behind it. And they couldn't select the number one or couldn't figure out how to get the number one to drive the flagship out of the fight and let the Punishers do the fight. So the number one key, I always try to, whatever boat you're going to want to drive besides your fleet, other than select all, I always try to put that in the number 1 or the number 5 position so it's easy to find. So if anybody doesn't have anything more about that, we'll move on.
I just gotta say one thing. Whoever's fleets out there, they're getting sunk by Rugged.
I think you said somebody's fleets are getting sniped.
Yeah, Rugged's over here sniping the fleets that are sitting out. Honeypot's just lost hers.
We'll get to it after the class.
All right, so the next little thing, and what I did was the class was on the keypad, the keystrokes, that kind of stuff, and the retrofit lab and the R&D stuff. So basically, I just tried to pull all the info that I could find off of all the other pages that I'm part of. And this one was The Price is Wrong. Battle Vortex is where it's at. I won't spend a lot of time here because you guys can watch this on your own time. But if you'll click on that, it'll load up a Google deal. It'll load up a retrofit. It's kind of his little package that he put together. I thought there were some pictures here with this.
There is.
There is.
Mine must be taking forever to load. There they are. So as you can see them down there on the left-hand side, there's the pictures right there. You can just click on them, the first one. Lube, you got that on video where I'm at?
Yep.
Something I remember too, before the Foundry had come out, retrofitting hulls was a huge thing.
Yeah, it's huge. Retrofits are key to the game. I mean, they are, if you don't have something going and retrofitting all the time, get with me. We need to get you some uranium so we can get these things going. But basically it says these retrofits are self-explanatory regarding the benefits. Recommended hulls that you actually use, recommended base hulls before you attack hulls, weapon, armor, and advanced retrofits, other smaller benefits, but have more longevity than hulls. So all the specials, all the advanced stuff is going to be more important than the hull at this point because we got the Foundry now. So I won't spend much time there. We'll just go to the next slide. It's just kind of a basic overall pictures of what's going on in your retrofit lab. The next slide, the green one, that's the bonus progressions of basically what happens when you retrofit it. So R1 is 3%, R15 is 23.8%. And then bonus progression B, same thing, 1.5 to 11.9. And then this kind of talks about what kick size math is. I know math is a big thing. Man, you're like, hey, I got 100% bypass and blah, blah this and blah, blah that. But it really, what it boils down to is how Kicksy does the math. And they can change this at any time, but this is basically how it is. Bonuses are multiplicative. They're not additive. R5 equals increased in bonuses valued by 12.2% right out of the gate at R5, or what used to be. This is kind of an old deal. Drac Armor, 10% defense, plus R5 bonus is 12.2 of 10%, which is 1.22%, equals 11.22% defense. So with all that at R15, your boat at R15, really it's only 11.22, but that 11.22 is a difference of life or death. I will tell you that.
When you're doing your weekly and stuff, that could make a difference between, an hour repair or a 15-minute repair.
That's exactly right. And I can tell you that Kicksy, and this is a theory of mine, that I believe that Kicksy builds the FM, builds the raids, builds all the chores, builds everything that you think you got to an R15 retro. I think they think you got to have the best, and then that's where they put it. So that's just theory. But as these slides go down, the next one is the Siege Missile D55E, and basically they say you might think the math here would be 900 times 12.2% or 1.122% equals 1009.8 building damage, but it isn't. The next slide will say what it is. But here's what is actually going on. The building damage of 900 minus the standard damage of 450, which leaves 450 as the damage reserved for the buildings. So there's the equivalent there. 450 times 12.2 or 1.122 equals 504.9 building bonus. So you can see how that math gets kind of crazy on that stuff. But I just wanted to point out, that it's not exactly what it looks like on paper. And then there's the same thing on the engines on Speed System. Well, I guess it's a Speed System 3. We have 4 and 5 now. So you can tell how old this stuff is, or these slides. I had to dig way back to find them. But that's the bonuses on them.
And the engines, when you get them up there, oh man, it is so worth it.
Yeah, Speed System 5 at R15 is sweet. Same thing with Magnus Drive or any other thing that you're using for your subs. R15 that, R15 Evade, and I'll talk about that when I get in my own personal slides of what's going on there. But it is so important to retro. So the next slide there, they're just showing the ranking calculations of this Siege Cannon D35S. I mean, these are old weapons, but they're just kind of showing you the math. And then the last slide on there was
User joined your channel.
compound plate armor. So, and they just kind of show you the math. So if you ever kind of want a little math lesson on that kind of stuff, this stuff will always be on the mentor page. I don't ever delete it. I just let it ride down. So it's always there. So I'll back out of that. Now we're back on just the mentor class page, out of the Price is Wrong retrofit stuff. And then I'll slip into just a little bit of the R&D stuff here, and where that's at. The next slides there, if you'll click on one of them, this is good for somebody who doesn't know what's coming up. Say you want to know, say you got one R&D going, and you've got the other tasks that you need to do done, but you need to know what the other task is for the next one, even though you haven't got them done. This is a good place to look. I'm sorry it's so small. I tried to blow it up, but that's as big as I could get it. But this will tell you what each level, this is 1 through 20 on the first slide. It tells you what you need to do and how much uranium it's going to do and what it's going to do for you. Or you can look at your R&D stuff, and I'll go over that here on my slides. But this is just a picture of what the top 30. I think that they've come out. Have they come out with the new ones past 30?
Not yet.
Nope.
So I know that they're coming. Probably be the update after the raid. but I don't have a date on that yet. But this is everything to 30. I'm nowhere close to that, so, and I'll show you where I'm at on my slides. But if you ever want to know what you need to do coming up, this is it.
And that R&D is important, folks. It will help you out drastically.
Yeah, it's awesome stuff. So go ahead and back out of that, and then we'll get on with my slides. It says class Saturday night, 8-6, my retros. And on them slides, it's a pack of 4 plus 8 or whatever. The first one in the top left-hand corner, it's a picture of my retro lab. If you can just click on that and let me know when everybody gets there.
Got ya.
User joined your channel.
There's certain things that you want to retro first before others. There's no sense to retro a weapon that you're not using. There's no sense in it. I mean, there's no sense to retro a turret that you're not using. Same thing with the advanced. So whatever you're using specifically, you get it to R15. If you have everything at R15 or most of it, then you can retro them other things for maybe something that might come up. But at the moment, retro just the stuff that you're using or what you're building. Get that stuff to R15. 15 days will take you something from R1 to R15, 24 hours of time. So the next slide. I just kind of took some pictures here. My retrofit lab, that's what my timer was set on. What you see was retrofitting in my lab. Scourge torpedoes. I think I actually got a picture of where it's at, but I think it's at R12 or R13 now. I'm going to take this all the way to R15 for the upcoming raid that's coming because it's going to need torpedoes, so I want them to be as best as they're going to be. But you can kind of see right there that my rapid fire cannons, I don't have any retro on them. My rapid fire rockets, don't have any retro on them. You know, I don't use none of them things. I started using strike missiles. I got them to R10 before I got the disruptor missile. I got it to R15, and then I got the blade. So then I needed to work on siege stuff. So you can see how important it is, and as you progress through the game, that you need to start retroing it. So keep the retros going. Next slide. This is everything that I have R15 in my weapons. As you can see, I've got my countermeasures because they're number one. If it'll shoot it down, it's not going to hit you. Them need to be R15. I believed at this point this was the most important parts of the game for me, in theory, of what I needed to get at R15. The bypass missile, I no longer use them, but at the time I needed them to be R15. Rail guns, gosh, can't think of them now. The D1, yeah, the Arbalist. The crossbow, I think, is all right there. That rail guns, I think they all need to be at R15. I want them to shoot the fastest. I want them to cause the most damage. And then there's the siege missiles, which is blades, D55Zs for the lower levels. You want to get them there. So, but that's what I've got at R15 in my weapons retrofit. The next slide is the turrets. I don't know if I got a picture. I didn't look at these right before, but I got a picture of the countermeasure turrets. I've got one of these in my base. I'm trying to get this to R15 because of before I wasn't worried about mortars, but now these new boats that are coming out, these Vendettas, have got some killer mortars in there. So I need to get one of these to help out. So I'm trying to get this to R15 also. That's that slide. And here's my, the next slide is what I have at R15 in the turret slot. If you guys can look at that, I've got ballistic systems. No, that's not. Yeah, ballistic systems.
Advanced.
No, I believe this is still, yes, it is advanced. Sorry. Yes, it is. So this is everything that I have at R15 at advanced. Ballistic systems, exploding platforms, missile platforms, compound engine systems. This is my engines, hunter specials, siege battery, and UAV systems, which we're not using UAVs right now in the game, but I did try to retro that up. Let's see here. I know that other people, depending on what weapons they're using or where they're at in the game, I was kind of a late starter, even though I'm an 83 in the game. It was a long time before I could get uranium. And being how I play the game, it's not I can get on all the time and get uranium. So I wasn't real too concerned with it, but I see where I fell. If I took my fleet out and went against the same fleet, I lost. So I was getting pissed, and that's why. Next slide. This is some more advanced. I circled them two right there, the concussive systems and stealth systems, just for the upcoming raid. That's kind of where I'm at. I'm trying to get them retroed up to R15 to be the best that I can get them for the raid.
That'll be starting in September.
Right, so these will be no problem getting them to R15. You can see my explosive systems up above there is at R11. That's what I'm running on my Revenges too, so I'm trying to get that there too, but that's kind of where I'm at on the advanced. And the next slide is my armor.
User joined your channel.
What I have at R15, and I've only got one at R15, and that's Evade. The lightweight armors is the Evade armor. So really, I'm showing my hand to the whole group here of what I've got going. So if you're not where I'm at, that's okay. And if you're before, if you're doing better than me, that's great. But I can tell you that I play every day. I put in the hard work to get uranium. I put in the hard work to play the game, and that's what I've got done at an 83. So I believe if somebody's going to beat me at a level 83, they're going to have to play the game more and be able to achieve the chores better than me to get the stuff to make a better fleet anyway. And the next slot is I just took a picture of my armors to show you where all the rest of my where the rest of my armors are at. Penetrating defense armors at R4, explosion. Yeah, I need to get these going, but I'm trying to take care of the most important things first. A lot of my fleets don't have armor on them yet until I refit them.
Although something to remember where it says, like your explosive defense armors, your penetrate. What the heck was that?
Who's that coming up?
Okay. Blood
Drinker, you're drowning out, brother.
Okay, I should be all right now. It wasn't me, it was someone else. All right, what I was saying too, something to remember when you're retrofitting armor, like your explosive defense armor, your penetrative defense armor, that is both ship and turret armor. It's not just one or the other when it comes to the armors. It is the armor that goes for all of them.
Yeah, Blood, jump in there anytime, man, if you got something to say about that.
Not a problem, as somebody's mic was screwing up. I was afraid it might have been me. But as you retrofit your armors, you got to understand that's going to bring up your defenses, not just for your ships, but like I was saying, also for your turrets, because you're going to be using armor as you upgrade your turrets and your bases. You're going to eventually start putting armor on them, and you're going to be putting, blueprint armor, not just what you research in your labs on there. And this is where this is going to make a huge benefit. You put an explosive armor on there that says 25%. Hey, that's great. Well, you put an explosive armor up there that's R15 and now sitting at, say, 32%, and, it doesn't have any extra weight, any extra power usage. That's the big difference with doing this retrofitting, guys. It really does make a difference. Go ahead there, Hornet.
All right, the next slide's the Foundry. I know I didn't have that on the list, but I wanted to point this out because this is how you would get a ship now. From basically when you get the first Foundry item done, you basically turn your ship into an R11 is what I'm seeing. Is that right, guys? R11 right out of the gate?
If it has a retrofit that high, yeah.
And this also gives you a chance to get the hull.
And guys, when you're working on Foundry stuff, some of you may or may not be working on it yet. You really got to pay attention to what you're doing, because some of the targets are Forsaken Mission weekly targets. So only when the Forsaken Mission is going on are you going to be able to get them. And some of them, I think, have to be when the sector bar hits yellow to get the some of the fleets and stuff to pop up. What are those things? Those damn it, the Reaver.
Those fleets from the raid.
Yes, thank you. The Mega Hull. There we go. Mega Hull is one of them, but the Reaver fleets and all that. So it's if you're wanting to work on something, you're going to have to pay attention and know that when you can and cannot work on it.
Mega Halls when it's orange.
Correct, sir.
So then the next slide there is a picture of my top left-hand corner when I'm playing my game. This goes back into the R&D stuff. This is where it'll tell you this advanced armaments. You'll click that little arrow right there, and it'll bring this up or down. I don't know if people play with that up or down, but this basically tells me that before I can do my next R&D, I need to destroy 2 subsector base cores times 2. This is the old Drac base, if anybody does not know what that is. So before I can do any more R&D, I need to destroy 2 subsector base cores. And then go ahead and laugh, but this is where I'm at. I'm at R13 now, or R&D 13 is what I'm getting ready to start. So that's where I'm at on my R&D. I know people are done with this. I know people that ain't even started it yet, but so that's where I'm at.
That will be me.
What happens with me is I don't have, well, I'm starting to have a pretty good base now, but 6 months ago I didn't have a very good base, and every time I stuck one of these little orange things or these little wheels outside my base, they just farmed me, and they kept taking my time away. So what I do is I try to take care of one of these every raid is what I've been doing. Once the raid kicks in, I get the uranium. I start one of these. That way I've got 5 days of a raid or 4 days of a raid, whatever it is, where I know I'm pretty much not going to get hit. I hope not to get hit anyway. And that's all my slides. So I will open it up for questions about any of that kind of stuff, any kind of conversation, theories, anything you guys want to talk about. This is the time. Like I said, I usually stay on for a couple hours and just stay right here in this room and talk about stuff. Mentors, if you want to get with your mentorees or somebody want to talk about that stuff, we can talk about anything you want. I just open up the floor. Lube, I don't know if you want to stop the video or keep it going for a little bit, but that's it for me.
I think unless Blood Drinker, do you have anything to add?
Not a whole lot today. It's been a busy week, but something y'all have to remember too, just when you start retrofitting something doesn't mean you have to take it all the way to R15 right away. Several items, especially when it comes down to like engines, compound alloy armors, and things like that, just get it started. Get it up to like R5. Most items running up to R5 are not expensive on uranium. If you have a hard time getting it, you might have to wait a little while to get with someone to help you, but if you can get some of those retrofits going and start it up there, you will see a difference. You're looking at less damage, less repair time, which means you're actually going to have more game time.
Yeah, another thing to consider too is if you looked at the docs that we shared on from Price is Wrong, that you'll notice is the higher you get up in the retros, the less benefit there is, which is interesting because it costs you more uranium. So if you're struggling to get uranium, maybe go up to R10 on some of them and then leave the last 5, because the benefits on those are a little bit more on the margin. I mean, they make a difference, but they're not nearly as impactful as R1 through R10.
Yep, that's great info.
One other thing too, just I noticed when you were scrolling through for the upcoming raid, you're absolutely right. The concussive systems are very important, but also the stealth armors, the new armors that just came out in the Forsaken mission, the the D3S and the D4S and the D5S are all in the retro lab now. So you might want to look at retrofitting those as part of your raid prep too.
And even if you're at the lower level of those new armors, as you're retrofitting all the upper grades too.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, even if you only have D2S on your fleet and you want to refit it later, you still have the retros will still apply to that better armor. The one thing I found out, by the way, just on slightly off that topic but related, the refit times for those armors is very quick. I can refit one of my Tigers with a whole set of D4S in like a day and a half.
Dang, not bad.
Yeah, so if you want, I think that would be a pretty good, because the big thing for the raid is explosive defense, and that armor mixes explosive defense in with the stealth boost. So for such a quick refit, if you have subs, it's probably worth it to throw that on there and get the double benefit of this increased stealth and the increased explosive defense.
Does anybody have those on yet? I mean, I have the D2S on there, but I want to know if the D3S helps with the Armadas.
I have the D5S, I believe it is, on my Tigers, and I did see a difference. Just in the amount of damage they can take.
Yeah, one thing to remember though from a stealth standpoint, the stealth on this armor is cloak efficiency. That helps with sonar, but it does not help with the thermal detection. So if you're up against a ship like the ones in the Armadas that have thermal, it won't help you with detection. It will definitely help you with defense for sure, but it won't help you. They'll still detect you at the same range.
Yeah, to my knowledge, there isn't anything out there that helps against thermal at this point in time.
Not as far as I know, but I mean, I don't know everything either, that's for sure.
Okay, cool. But if they do help with the evade or the stealth of it, I like to those 75s. A friend of mine has a fleet with Deluge missiles, and he just sits there and takes out 75s left and right without a cent of damage. That's what I'm looking for.
I will ask a question though. If you took the boat that's got the most sonar out there, I'm trying to think of which one it is. It might even be a proto that's got the most sonar, and you loaded that up with every sonar thing that you could. Would you still be able to see a sub quicker than you could, say, with a 80 thermal with the maxed out sonar?
Would really
That's
depend
gonna
on would really depend on how much anti-sonar they have, cloaking efficiency.
Right, and without counting that in.
Your channel.
But a lot of people have gotten away from cloaking efficiency because it does
Right,
nothing
they don't.
for thermo.
Right. The sonar range on a proto is 125. I think maybe one of the battle cruisers, when it's retroed all the way up, might have that either that same range or slightly longer, but that's around the top end. But I don't know, and I don't. Maybe somebody on this can tell me, because I've always wondered this. I don't really understand how the sonar range and the stealth interact with each other. Like some things are pretty clear, right? If you've got a missile that does this much damage versus this much defense, but I don't really know how the math works on the detection and the cloaking. Like if you have a cloak of, say, I don't know, 50, and then somebody's got 125 thermal range, what does that mean? Or not thermal, sorry, sonar. I just don't know how that math works, so.
Well, basically, it's going to come down to it's a little tougher than the way I'm going to explain it, but this will be the simplest thing. If you've got a sonar level reaching out of, say, I don't know, just to make numbers simple, 100, and you've got cloaking efficiency of like 60%, you're looking at actual sonar range of 40. And that is a rough way of doing it in simple numbers.
All right, so for example, like my Tigers have a cloak efficiency of 84. So if I was going up against a ship with 100 thermal range, but 100 sonar range, but no thermal, I could get within roughly 16 or whatever before they saw me, right?
In theory, yes.
I mean, that's actually, in practice, that seems roughly right as far as how close I can get up to a sonar ship. So that probably makes sense. All right.
All right, guys, I am going to go ahead and shut the recording down. I do appreciate everybody showing up for this. This did break the Mentor class record tonight. We have 47 people in this class right now. I hope you learned something. We will continue the dialogue past the recording, but definitely thanks for showing up tonight.